Hello friends, welcome to my channel Zoology Club. This is our next video of medical and veterinary zoology. Today's our new topic is brief account of life history, mode of infection and pathogenicity of the following pathogens with reference to prophylaxis and treatment of Echinococcus granulosus. This is a very important topic. So let's start. Our first question is characteristics of Echinococcus granulosus. This is the picture of Echinococcus granulosus. You can take a screenshot of this picture. This is a very important topic. Common names: the dog tapeworm, the hydatid worm. Habitat: man harbors the larval form and not the adult worm, which is however found in the small intestine of dog and other canine animals. Morphology: it is a small tapeworm measuring 3 to 6 mm in length. It comprises of a scolex, that is head, neck, and strobila consisting of 3 segments, occasionally 4. The first segment is immature, the second segment is mature, and the last segment is gravate. The terminal end is bifid, the biggest measuring 2 to 3 mm in length by 0.6 mm in breadth. The scolex bears 4 suckers and a protrusible rostellum with 2 circular rows of hooks. The neck is short and thick. Egg: it is ovoid in shape and resembles other eggs of Taenia. It measures 32 to 36 micrometer in length by 25 to 32 micrometer in breadth. It contains hexacanth embryo with 3 pairs of hooks. The egg is infective to man, cattle, sheep, and other herbivorous animals. Larval form: this is found within the hydatid cyst, developing inside the intermediate host. It represents the structure of the scolex of the future adult worm and remains invaginated within a vesicular body. On entering the definitive host, the scolex with 4 suckers and rostellar hooklets becomes invaginated and develops into an adult worm. Our second question of this chapter is life cycle of the Echinococcus granulosus. The worm passes its life cycle into 2 hosts. First host is definitive host, that is dog, wolf, fox, and jackal. The worm lives in the small intestine of these animals, who discharge a large number of eggs in their feces. The dog is the optimum definitive host. Intermediate host: sheep, pig, cattle, horse, goat, and man. The larval stage is passed in these animals and man, giving rise to hydatid cyst. The sheep appears to be the optimum intermediate host. The eggs are discharged with feces of the definitive host, that is dog and allied animals. These are swallowed by the intermediate host, sheep, and other domesticated animals while grazing in the field, and also by man, particularly children, due to intimate handling of infected dogs. Hexacanth embryo: in the duodenum, the hexacanth embryos are hatched out. About 8 hours after ingestion, the embryos bore their way through the intestinal wall and enter the radicals of the portal vein. The embryos are carried to the liver to be arrested in the sinusoidal capillaries, that is, the liver act as fast filter here. Some of the embryos may pass through the hepatic capillaries, enter the pulmonary circulating, and filter out in the lungs. Here lungs act as the second filter. A few of the embryos may pass the pulmonary capillaries, enter the general bloodstream, and lodge in the various organs. Practically all the organs of the domesticated animals may be invaded, but they are chiefly found in the liver and lungs. Wherever the embryo settles and it forms a hydatid cyst, the young larva being transformed into a hollow bladder. Scolices: from the inner side of the cyst, brood capsules with a number of scolices are developed. A hydatid cyst developing from a single egg, that is oncospore, may contain thousands of scolices. A fully developed scolices is an end product, and its presence inside the hydatid cyst is a sign of complete biological development. These fertile hydatids, when ingested by the dog, are capable of growing into adult worms in about 6 to 7 weeks' time in the intestine. Thus, the cycle is repeated. As the dogs have no access to the hydatid cyst developed in the viscera of man, the life cycle of the parasite comes to a dead end. The natural cycle is thus maintained by dog and sheep. Lifespan of the adult worm in the canine host is short, about 6 months. Lifespan of the larval worm is considerable and it may continue to develop for many years. This is the picture of the life cycle of Echinococcus granulosus. You can take a screenshot of this picture. This is a very important topic of this chapter. Our third question is mode of infection of Echinococcus granulosus. Man acquires the infection in a variety of ways visible by swallowing water, on taking uncooked vegetables or salads contaminated with infected canine feces, or by handling and fondling infected dogs by taking meals along with dog from the same dish. Infection with contaminated water is not common as the eggs begin sink to the bottom. Infection by a direct contact with the dogs is far more common. The larva remains in soil for about 10 years. Infection is generally acquired in childhood, though the disease does not become manifest before adult life. First is infested agent, eggs in dog's feces. Second, position of enemy alimentary canal. Third, sites of location, that is viscera, that is liver, lungs and other organs. Our fourth question of this chapter is pathogenicity of Echinococcus granulosus. The adult worms in dogs do not cause much inconvenience. The larval worms in man and other herbivorous animals cause hydatid disease or echinococcosis. Sites of distribution after the eggs has been swallowed. After 6 hooked embryo escapes from its wall, bores through the intestinal wall and enters the portal bloodstream to reach the liver. This organ acting as the first filter, it has also been encountered in various other places such as lung, bones, muscles and other viscera. In all these places, it gives rise to the formation of hydatid. The most common localization of hydatid cyst in liver is 70%, lung 12%, right lower lobe is commonly involved, muscular and subcutaneous tissue 5% and brain 5%, higher incidence in children, kidneys 2%, spleen 2%, bones 1%, ribs, vertebra and upper ends of the long bones, pelvic organs, genital organs and urinary bladder 2% and other places 1 to 3%. Incubation period, the slowly enlarging hydatid cysts are usually asymptomatic. In majority of cases, the disease remains latent for many years. Symptoms. In brains, it gives rise to symptoms of cerebral tumor. In the liver, the cyst manifests with abdominal pain. Compression of bile duct may result in obstructed jaundice. In liver, it may be stimulated malignant growth, and in tropical countries, it may stimulate liver abscess. In lung, cyst manifest with cough, chest pain. In bones, the growing hydatid cyst leads to bone degeneration and pathologic fractures. In the kidneys, it may resemble a hydronephrosis. In heart, condition detects and pericarditis may occur due to the growing hydatid cyst. Immune reaction. Occasionally, the parasite dies and cyst undergoes calcification. This is due to an immune response against the hydatid cyst. Sometimes the rupture of hydatid cyst releases its contents in the tissue, and this toxic fluid may lead to anaphylactic shock. This is the picture of hydatid cyst in various organs. You can take a screenshot of this picture. This is our fifth question of this chapter, prophylaxis of Echinococcus granulosus. Let's start. Prophylactic measures consist of the following. First is prevention of infection to the dog for controlling its access to the carcasses of sheep, cattle and endemic areas. Strict personal hygienic regarding through cleaning of hands before eating will ensure protection. Laboratory workers should guard against pollution of the fingers while examining dog feces. The infected dogs either be destroyed or treated with specific antiseptics. Our sixth question of this chapter is treatment of the hydatid disease in man caused by Echinococcus granulosus. Surgery is the main line of treatment in hydatid cyst disease. Sufficient care is essential to prevent leakage of hydatid fluid during surgery. Before evacuation of the cyst content, 10% formalin is ingested to kill the scoliosis except in the lung hydatids. After removing the cyst wall, the cavity is swallowed with 10% formalin. This technique is adapted for abdominal cysts where surgery is not possible. Medical line of treatment may be useful. This is our seventh and last question of this chapter. What is hydatid disease in man? What is the organism? Illustrate the structure of hydatid cyst and the development fate of the specific larval cyst within the intermediate host. Hydatid disease of man. Wherever the embryo of Echinococcus granulosa settles, it forms a cyst called the hydatid cyst. It can localize at different parts of human body like alimentary tract and visceral organs, that is liver, lungs and other organs. The chief clinical manifestations are entirely depend upon local signs, and if the cyst is situated superficially, it may cause a visible swelling. In the majority of cases, the disease remains latent, that is symptomless, for many years, and its presence is only detected as its pressure effects on the surrounding tissue or the cyst rupture. The pressure symptoms will vary according to the site of the cyst. Rupture of a hydatid cyst is associated with anaphylactic symptoms and formation of localized or generalized secondary echinococcosis. This disease is known as hydatid disease in man. The causative organism of this disease, Echinococcus granulosa. Structure of a hydatid cyst. Hydatid cyst consists of two layers. This is the picture of the structure of a hydatid cyst. You can take a screenshot of this picture. Outer cuticular layer, that is ectocyst. It is a laminated hyaline membrane having a thickness up to 1 mm. To the naked eye, the ectocyst has the appearance of the white of a hard-boiled egg. It is elastic, and when ruptured, the inner layer containing the brood capsules and daughter cells are released. Inner or germinal layer, that is endocyst, it is cellular and consists of a number of nuclei embedded in a protoplasmic mass. It is very thin and measured about 20 to 25 micrometer in thickness. It is the vital layer of the cyst and give rise to brood capsules with scoleases and secrete the specific hydatid fluid and form an outer layer. Composition and character of hydatid fluid. Clear colorless fluid may be pale yellow in color. Specific gravity low, 1.005 to 1.010. Reaction slightly acidic, that is pH level is 6.7. Contains sodium chloride, sodium sulfate and sodium and calcium salts of succinic acid. Antigenic being used for immunologic test. Fate of developmental and the specific larval cyst within the hydatid cyst in man. Within the intermediate host, endogenous daughter cyst formation in hydatid cyst in the result of growth over many years and is therefore particularly seen in man. The daughter cyst develop inside the mother cyst and changes into young brood capsule and scolex bud. Brood capsules sprout from the germinal layer. It is at first spherical but soon becomes vacuolated and transformed into a vesicle. The scoleases numbering 5 to 20 or more develop within this brood capsule. A fully developed scolex represents the future seed of the adult worm with suckers and a circle of hooklets invaginated inside the scolex. If you like my video, then please subscribe my channel or like this video or share this video with your friends. Thank you.